Hello and welcome. This is Ruth, and it's day 2 of Cyber Week here with Tonic in 2023. And this is the Making Memories with Friends die set, and there are 53 dies here which make a beautiful memory book. In fact, you can make 3 different sizes of memory books here. And if you've never made a memory book before and you don't have any other die sets that do that, this one actually includes the base, the decoration, the spine, so you can actually make a spine with a little folded spine here, or you can use this to make a thread up spine that you can use ribbon or twine in to hold the pages together. So it's a really good place to start, but there's also lots of dies in here that you could use for other things as well as memory books. Just look at that beautiful big die there. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. And you can see that one doesn't even have an outside cutting edge on it. So you can use that just laid into a page, and you can make a beautiful card with that pattern cut into it. It would almost look like something that was laser cut. It would be absolutely beautiful. Anyhow, this is the largest page size here, and you can see this one doesn't have a cutting edge here. So you can use that to extend the sides and do whatever to make the spine with that. So we've got this one, this one, this one, and this one all the same, and then all the rest of these are decorative panels. But of course you can cut this and cut that part off and use that for a decorative panel as well. There are sentiment dies in here as well, and this one says making memories, and then we've got with friends, on our journey, together, with you, and with family. So lots of nice things that you can put in there as well. We've got beautiful flowers here and foliage and little scrolly bits and pieces, and I think the lovely little extra in this one this time is this die with this little inset piece here that you can fold up to make a beautiful little frame, which makes a beautiful addition to the memory book. You can use it on the cover or you can use it on the inside, but you could also use that separately as well. And then this beautiful panel here as well. So this is actually a series of dies that you can use, cut out and add as a little extra pocket or a little gatefold part, and there's a smaller one there as well. Anyhow, I'm going to use that along with this beautiful little die set here, so I'll let you see that closer as well, and a stamp set. So if you haven't already subscribed, now might be a good time because there's lots of really beautiful launches this week, and I don't think you'll want to miss any of them. They're really, really lovely, and then you'll be able to look back, but you won't miss any more videos that come up if you subscribe now and hit that notification bell. And if you do enjoy it, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and leave me a little comment down below. This is the little With Love stamp and die set that I'm going to use along with this, and these make beautiful little tags and bits and pieces that you could use in your memory book, but again for other things as well. But there's beautiful little layering hearts, plain one there and a scalloped one. So there are 27 dies and 13 stamps, and they make little stamps for Mother's Day, You're the Best, Valentine's Day, whatever. But you can certainly, there's one there that says I love you, and that's a debossing little die. And you could use these for all sorts of things as well, because you don't have to put this little sentiment part in the middle. I've used them, I've already had a little look at this, and they make these beautiful little pieces as well. So you could add your own little sentiment, or you could add some of the flowers or foliage or just whatever. Even a little photograph would be lovely on that. This is a beautiful new paper pad released by Tonic as well for Cyber Week, and I'm going to use this with my die set to make that memory book. It is really, really beautiful. It's called Dusky Rose, and you can see these beautiful vintagey, cottagey kind of flowers here. And there are 18 sheets of 200 GSM, so there are 2 each of 9 double-sided designs, and as you can see, it's 12 by 12. But it's beautiful ivories, pinks and greens, and they work beautifully together. You can make gorgeous backgrounds with them, or as you can see here, there's lots of scope there for die cutting and fussy cutting as well. So you'll see more of that as I go through it. I'm going to pick out some beautiful card that goes along with that, and I'll be right back. So this is actually video 2 with this die set and the paper pad and the other little stamp and die set that I showed you there. And in the first video I've used this size, and I've made a big memory book with a spine on it. And in this one I've decided, just because there was so much that so many possibilities, the video would have gone on and on forever. So the second video is this one, and I'm making this size, and I'm going to make this one with the little holes down the side. So I can bind that together with ribbon or twine or whatever. And then if you stay tuned, I will most likely be making something really nice at the end, because have had a few ideas for a card and another little thing as well. So hang in there and follow along, and hopefully this will inspire you to get some extra use out of a die set that's made for memory books, and you can maybe use it for other things as well. So to start off this one, I have used this die, as I said, and I want to leave enough room here to make the little spine with this little die here. So I have laid this on the card, and you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can either just measure it out. Here are the pieces I've already added it onto. So this part from right here to the end is 2 centimeters. So you can lay this on and measure from here to here and have that 2 centimeters top and bottom, and then you'll know you've got it exactly right. Or if you've just got a scrap piece of card or whatever and you're laying it on, after you've done that, you can measure it and chop it off as well. But when I've got that done and cut this out, I've actually cut 6 of them to start off with, because I want a front cover and a back cover and then 4 pages inside. Then I'm going to cut out lots of different pieces to add on the other side of this, because obviously it's got a good side and then the not so good side. And then I'm going to add ribbon and whatnot onto it. But I just want to show you how I've added the little spine on here. So on this area here, you'll see a slight little mark whenever you cut it out, and that will just be right down where this flat area has sort of been impressed onto your die cut. And right at the edge of that, I have scored that with my scoreboard, and then right at the edge of that, I've popped this die on, and you can see there are little notches here and here, and I've just lined those up with the top and bottom right against that and die cut that, and I've done that on all of the pages so that they will all line up, and then I can thread them all together and everything will just be in the right place. For the back and front covers then, I want to add some ribbon on as my closure. So I've got this one, I've put ribbon on the back here, and then I've done exactly the same thing for the front one. It's just turned over and the ribbon is on there, and I want that on first before I add any detail onto the top of it. So now I'm going to show you some bits and pieces that I've already gone ahead and cut and made my front panel with. This is absolutely beautiful. I've picked out some gorgeous pinks, and I really love with that paper that you can add in some sparkly card. You could keep that muted, and I'll probably do that in some other video, but right now I wanted to bring out the shine. So I've gone ahead and I have used some of these beautiful dies to do just that. I've used this one to make this set here actually just to make a little gatefold part for the front, and I'll lift that out because that's not stuck in yet, and you'll be able to see there that the ribbon was threaded on, or just glued on actually, the way I've done for the back. So that started life off like this, and then I have taken this panel here, die cut it, and then I have just scored right down there where that little edge piece is, as you can see, and glued the little tab on right over the top so that both of those pieces line up, and they were totally obviously plain to start off with, and I have decorated them, and I'm just going to show you how I've done that. So I have taken this die and I have cut that out in glitter card, and I have put that on here. So that's pink frosting glitter card. Then I have taken these two dies together in Princess Pink pearlescent card, and it's really, really beautiful on top of that, but it's also really lovely to have that white to show it off as well. And I have glued that directly on top of the glitter card. Then you can see here this beautiful little die with some debossing detail on it, and that's really gorgeous on some pearlescent or mirror card or whatever. And I've cut that out 4 times, so you'll get one here, here, here and here, and I've glued them directly on there. Then I've taken these 2 little dies, I've cut this one out and glued it on top here, because when these both come together, you'd be very careful when you're gluing that on to make sure that they both line up directly and properly here. Then this one will go right on there. Look at that lovely detail, and that cuts out with this beautiful little die. And then just to strengthen the other side of that, I've cut this piece out and I've glued it directly on there. And as you can see then, I've popped it on here and here as well. I've taken this die, as you can see, and I've cut it out again, and then I've just chopped off this little bit, and I actually went slightly inside that line there to make it slightly shorter, so you can see a tiny gap down there, and that was really just so that there's no bulk there whenever that folds over, and that looks really pretty there. But when you open it up, you get the floral pattern, and because this is the front cover, then that gives you a sort of feel for the floral element that's going to be carried on throughout the book. Then I've taken the same die again, and I've chopped it off right down there again, so that I've got this piece. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I don't really like putting glue on pearlescent or mirror card, so I've got double-sided tape on there. I'll add a little bit of glue in pieces where the tape is already there, and then I'll pop this over. Sorry, I should explain that, because I always think that there's a little ripple or a little something that's not quite right whenever you put glue on that. It sort of shows up as a little, maybe just a little fine bump or something on that, but I don't like it, so I always use double-sided tape on that, and it holds perfectly well. It's not something that's going to be pulled about or used very much. That piece will be flat on there, and it's safe enough to use. Now I've cut out the little making memories in the glitter card, and I've cut the background out in the white card, and then I have fussy cut this, and I really love that. I'm going to put that on there, and the making memories on here, just like that. So when you open this up, then that gives you what is going to be on the inside of the book. One of the really good things about making a memory book is that there's really no right or wrong way to do it. There are some ways that you can do things that make them a bit easier, but really it's up to you, and you can decorate this whatever way you like and do whatever you want. So what I'm showing you now is just the way I've made mine, and you can follow along, or you could just adapt it to suit whatever you want to do yourself. Now for this one, I'm not going to use the beautiful frame die that is in the big set, but I'm going to show you it, and that's the die there, and this is the frame it makes here. It's really gorgeous. That's my bigger memory book that I made with the spine on the side of it. The video will be linked down below. That's absolutely gorgeous, and I really love the way that one turned out. But for this one, I am going to, first of all, what I normally do anyhow is cover all the pages first of all. So you can see here on the ones which is the sort of reverse of the good side, I have taken exactly the same die, and I've cut it out there, and then I've just trimmed this piece off just slightly inside that little line, and that goes right out to the edges, and it covers that sort of rougher looking. I'll show you a piece here. So this is what I would call a good side, and then this is the reverse here, and it's just slightly rougher. So I would cover that whole side with that, and then on the good side you can just put on the smaller die, which is this one that just fits inside it, and that leaves you a beautiful white border. But you don't have to. You can put this on the same side here, but it is good to cover that one. So I've gone ahead and I've done that with a few of them. I've got them all ready, like so, and then the back one. And I've also cut the same thing out of vellum, so it's the page die again, and put the little holes down the side of it, and I'm going to pop that in between two pages as well. Now I can go ahead and decorate all of those, put pockets and put all sorts of things on them. I've taken one out, and I'll show you when I come to it that I've done something quite different with that one. But I'm just going to show you this. So this little die here, which is the smaller version of this, can be used just to make a little pocket that you can add inside. So if you put the pinholes or the little holes on there, you could attach this. You could put those holes there and have it in at the same level, or you could make that longer and extend it and have it sort of out in the page. Then you could add the other one beside it and back that onto something that's going to keep that as one little piece and have that as a separate section in there. Or you could just back two of those together and have them opening. So there's lots of different ways that you could use that as well. And I have now got all of those decorated, and I'm going to go and find myself lots of different ways of using these pages. Now obviously, because this has the thicker has the little holes in here, I don't want to make that any thicker by adding that frame inside, but I'm going to show you how I have added the frame inside this larger book, because the spine then holds that just that little bit apart, and you can go ahead and have a little frame inside as well. That doesn't work so well whenever you're binding it with the little with twine or ribbon at the side, because it kind of means that the book would be held tighter together there, and then would be very, very wide here. Anyhow, I digress. I'm going to go back and start making pockets and things here, and I'll be right back when I have all of those cut. I've used the same die that I cut the entire page out for this pocket here, and I just cut it in half and cut the tab off there. And then I used the smaller one with the glitter card and glued it on top, and then put a strip here just to strengthen that. And then that leaves me a pocket there. And these two flowers were fussy cut from the paper pad, and then that's one of the little scrolly patterns in there. And that's my first little pocket made. Then I am going to put the vellum page. I think that would be nice just in between the next two, and I'm not going to put anything on that. I just want it to look like it's somewhere between the two of them. I might change it later and put it between two different ones, because that's the beauty of waiting to the end until you sort of attach all these pages together. You can sort of turn them around a bit and see which ones fit with the page opposite. Anyhow, on the next one I've got this, and then I've taken the little die that has, this is the smallest one with the little edge piece on it here, and I have cut that out 4 times. So I've got 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then I have left an extra centimetre on the top. So I'll just show you one here that has it on it. I've die cut the full die here and left an extra centimetre at the top, but I have folded this right across where the edge of this little plate comes here, so that leaves a little mark, and I've just scored and folded it right across there. And I've made this beautiful little frame to go on top of that by cutting out these 2 dies together in that beautiful card, and I've put one of those on top of each of these. Now I've got a strip of white card measuring 2.7 centimetres across this way by 9 this way, and I have put one of these on right at the top of it. I've put the next one on, and I'm just going to show you how I've done that. The 1 centimetre is there, the score line, and again this is exactly the same as I've done with the top 2. I'm just going to put glue on there and butt that right up to the 1 centimetre that I had added on after the little score line there, and just keep that burnished down like that. And I'll move this over just so that I don't get any extra glue on it. So this is my 4th one, and the little piece is at the top there, but I've cut that a bit shorter, and I'm just going to add that on to the bottom there, and then they'll all look like this at the end. So this one will actually get glued on right directly onto the rectangle panel that I had, so I can put the glue straight onto that and then put this on top. So you can see on those other ones there, I have actually decorated the back of them, because you'll see that when you flip them up. And what I've done is taken this die again and just die cut that, and then cut it right from point to point there and put it in. And that gives a lovely little area for putting photographs, and that can get glued then by this panel, which is why it didn't really matter if I wrote on it. I can glue that, and I can actually glue this bottom one as well onto that, and I just want these to be able to be lifted up so that you can see inside them, and lift them up and down like that. So to keep those sort of neat and attached, so they're not sort of just lying like that, I didn't want to use a whole lot of magnets, because it would take one for each one of those. So I have got a long strip of, actually one cut off, a long strip of white ribbon, which I am going to glue down the back of this, and then when I glue this on top, I'll just be able to tie a little bow on top of that one. On the reverse of that page then, I have just put a photo mat and kept that quite plain and simple, and I'll probably put something at the top, maybe a little embellishment, but I might just leave it plain because there's lots of little flowers around there. I'm not sure yet. I usually come back at the end and check if I need any more embellishments on it. But for the page right opposite that, I've gone for green again, and on my page here you can see that I have taken this die and I just set it at the edge here and lined up this part, this side with the middle, and die cut that, because when I cut that through, it's not going to take this piece out because there's no cutting edge on that edge. Whenever I had die cut that, it was very, very easy just to line this edge up then, because it fitted exactly into the groove that one had already cut. So there was no way I was going to ever get that wrong. That just fits it. You can feel it just catching in there. And I die cut it again, and that meant that the gatefold on that lined up absolutely perfectly. I took a little stylus then and a ruler, and I just scored right down from point to point on both those edges there and made little hinges. Then, as you can see, I took the same die and I cut that out in patterned paper, and I have just trimmed off these edges here again, and I've backed the back of that. Now for the reverse of this then, in behind there, I've taken another die cut, which is exactly the same die, the full one with this piece on, just it had to be exactly the same size, but I've cut the tab off and I've kept the good side facing outwards, and the side that I'm not going to see now is facing inside here. And then I've taken the smaller die and put some green card in that, because obviously hopefully it's going to match up with this one. And now I can go ahead and glue those two together, and that way then when this opens up I'll have a little piece there. If you have a little look at the front of this, you can see that I've taken this little die and I've glued that on there and there. I've actually also put it on here on the inside just to reinforce it. So I cut that out 4 times, and then I have cut this out 4 times as well, and I've glued those 4 pieces here and here. Then I have taken 2 little dies together, so that's these 2, and I've taped them together here, but there's an outside edge, there's actually 2 if you can see. This one and then this one. So I have cut the plain one out in the patterned paper. Goodness, that sounds a bit Irish, doesn't it? And then I've used the 2 together with that beautiful, I think it's Water Sprite iridescent mirror card. It's really, really lovely. And I've glued it on over the top of that, and I'm just going to glue that on here, and that will be the little door parts done. Now I'll need to put some ribbon in there to hold that, but for the moment, there we are. Now I didn't want to leave this all plain around here, so I have taken 2 dies in the set again, and you can see there the size of them. One is just the size smaller than the page, and the next one down to that as well. And I taped both of those together and ran them through the die cutting machine with some of that card to match that, and it has given me this beautiful frame which I'm going to put on there. Now that leaves me lots of clearance here to open this back and forward, and it just frames that really beautifully when the pages are closed and also when it's opened. I decided on a kind of locket idea. Well, that's what inspired this anyway for the next page. So I've cut a strip of card, and this one measures 12¼ centimeters this way by 1½ this way. You could have it whatever depth you want, but I think that suits fine. And then I used the little With Love tags, and I've cut 4 out in this one and 2 in this one. And then I've gone for the ones for the centers, and I've just cut out 2 of that and 1 of that in this, which matches up here. Now I'm going to put this on here, but I wanted to, when I say locket, you'll get the idea if I show you here. I want to be able to put this on here and then have that move back and forward, so I needed a little brad on it. Well, you've no idea how smug I felt when I found 3 little brads, just the right size and just the right colour. I tell you, that doesn't happen very often, but it made me very happy. So before I attach this onto here, I have just laid these on, and I've just sort of marked 2 are higher up and 1 slightly lower, but it was really easy. It was just to sort of lay them out there and get the spacing right. And then I poked a little hole through each of those with my pokey tool, and that will be just enough to get my little brads sorted in through that. So I have got the heart with the little topper on, and I might actually go ahead and put a little flower in that, we'll see later, but at the moment what I'm doing is putting that on top of that, putting a little brad through there, and then pop that right through there and open the little split pin at the back like so. Oh, it worked. And then now I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing with this and then with this here, and then I can attach that onto the back, making sure that I don't put glue anywhere where the little brads are. Actually, it doesn't really even matter if I do, because it's not going to affect that at all. And then I'll glue this on here and we'll have that little locket effect on there. I've put high tack tape right across there because I don't like seeing glue directly onto sort of mirror or satin effect card or anything, because I think it gives a little wrinkle. I know I keep saying that, but it's fine if I put glue on just below that. So I want those kind of about there, and there we are. I'm actually just going to leave that like that without putting any flowers and things on that, because I think it looks really nice and it sort of draws your attention more to it like that, rather than having it blend into the background. But you can go ahead then and put a little memory or a little photograph or whatever you like on those little bits in at the back there. I made two fairly simple pockets for the next two pages opposite each other, and that was just with the die cut, and cut it across in half and put half on here and half on here, and then covered them both with patterned paper and a little strip of glitter card there just to strengthen the top. I've got a little tag here that I've made from another plain die cut. That's just this one, and then the little piece that I used for the to strengthen where the little let's see where it is, where these little pieces where the ribbons go. So I've done that at the top and added a little bit of ribbon in, and that's my little tag for there. On this side then, it's a fairly straightforward mat. And then on the back page, I took the die that cuts out this piece with the little holes in it, and I threaded some white card up through that, and I just glued the card here and here, and then I put On Our Journey in there, and the tag then will fit in through here. So all's left for me to do now is to start and assemble these in the order that I want them. I think I've just moved one since I showed you through the last time, and then I'm going to sew these all together. I think I might do that with some white ribbon, and then if I have any more embellishments to add, I'll do that, but I need to make a few more of these. There it is, and I have stitched up and down here with the white ribbon on a big needle and attached all those pages together there. And we'll just open this all up and have a little look at what's inside. Now I want to show you the two books beside each other, because I think a lot of the ideas that I've put inside this one, this little magnetic piece and whatever, you could actually put these inside there, and you could make some of these and put them inside there. So don't forget to check out the video for this one, and you can obviously adapt a lot of things to go in there as well. Now there's a lot of making in a memory book. Don't be rushing it, just take your time and enjoy it. You won't enjoy it if you do rush it. I am going to use the same dies to make something else now, so I'll do a little bit of die cutting and I'll be right back. I thought I would make a lovely big card with this. So this is a 7x7 card blank, and I really wanted to show this beautiful pattern off to just the best that I could. It's absolutely gorgeous on the cover of the big album that I made. You can see it there, and I've sort of layered it up, not quite tone on tone, but similar. But this time I wanted to show just how delicate it could look if it was cut through the card. So I got the center of the card, and I'm having this a top fold because I want to make a tent card and put a little candle in, little tea light candle in below it. So I have taped this onto the center of the card, just like so, and then run it through the die cutting machine. Now obviously when you're doing that, you need to make sure that you've got the card open, because you don't want to cut it through the two, and probably it would take ages to do that anyway, but you don't want to do that. You may need an extra little shim on the center. I put this on, and actually look at the pattern in that. That's just by laying a card on top of that and running it through the die cutting machine. So look what you can do there too. Another little idea. But anyway, I ran that through several times just to make sure that I had the whole pattern cut out, and then I put vellum onto the back. So there are little dots of glue on the actual white card here because you don't want that to be loose at the front. So I have glue the whole way around the outside here, and then everywhere here where you can see a sort of solid area, I've put a little dab of glue as well, and then put the vellum on top of that, and it gives a really, really beautiful effect. I've taken these two dies together then, taped them together and used them on some glitter card, made a beautiful frame, and I've glued that very, very carefully on round there as well. Then I've gone for a little die set here, which is called the Heartfelt Sentiment Collection die set, and I've taken out the Life is Better with Friends. I've cut the sentiment out from the glitter card, and I have cut the backing plate out from vellum again, and I have glued that directly on top. As I said, I want this to be a top fold, tent fold card, so I don't want it to be able to stand up and then fall open like that. So I've taken a piece of card which is the same width as the card front, so that's 7 inches, and then I'm sort of swinging between inches and centimeters here, but it doesn't have to be exactly the same as this, but I have done 6 centimeters across. So you can see there how I have folded it, 1 centimeter in at each side, and that's a valley fold, and then right down the center, and that's a mountain fold, and you'll need to burnish those folds really, really well. I've already done that, and I'm ready to roll now. So I am going to take the back piece of this, and I hold it like this with the point facing upwards. Hopefully you can see that there, and along this back edge then, with the fold down at the bottom, I am going to glue that directly on there, so the fold is right in line with the bottom of the card, and the mountain fold then will be facing up inside the card. Now if I was going to put a colour on the background there, I actually had thought of putting some pink in the back. I would put it on after I've done this, because there you are, I'm just going to pop that right down on there, and you want that right flush with the edge there, right along that way. And as I said, if I was going to put a colour on there, which I did toy with doing, I was going to put some, put this pink in or whatever, and I thought that would show through, but it actually just darkened the card. You would put it on now, and that would cover that. So with the mountain fold facing up into the card, then fold that down, and this other little piece here, the 1 centimeter tab, gets glue right across there. And simply fold the card straight down on top of that and hold it until the glue grabs. And now you've got yourself a tent fold card that won't sort of fall open whenever it stands up, and it also gives you a little bit of space in there where you could put a little battery tea light. Now, I don't think you're going to see much there with the way the light is at the moment, but that looks really, really beautiful shining through the vellum, and it's a very, very delicate card. Oh dear, this is another one of those die sets that every time I look at it I see something different, but this video is going to get far, far too long if I keep going on, but I do want to show you one last thing. I think this is the last thing. This is the die that makes the beautiful little frame that you saw on the front of the memory book, and if you haven't seen it, go back and check the memory book first video that I did using this die set. You can adapt this to different sizes and just cut the sizes to equal sides if you want a smaller square, but you'll need to cut out 4 of them obviously, and there we are, we have 3 already, and there's one just to show you how to do it. And you fold all of the folds in the same way the whole way around, and you'll get this lovely little shape here. So now all you need to do is put glue right down that shorter edge like that, fold that in with that over, and now you've got one of the sides for your little frame. To attach all of this together then, just put glue on the inside. You see that little piece that sits up at the back there? On the inside of that and on the outside of that little tab. And you'll go to the straight edge of the next one and fit it inside that one with that inside there. And just put those together, and that gives you the really, really neat little beveled edge there at the corner. So if you hold that for a second or two, you'll see you can grab it at the back there too. There's the measurements for you as well. Hold that together, and there's that. Just do the same thing the whole way around. Back on there, right on there. Slip that one in there, and on you go. And you can carry on until you've got a little frame finished. Now, if you want to use that as a little frame just as it is, you can go ahead and cut out a square to fit on the back of it, and you've got a lovely little frame, and that looks beautiful just to frame a little scene or a little photograph or even a sentiment on the front of a card. What I've done is I've made two of these, so this is the one already that I made here, and I have put acetate on the back of that and glued that together. Now hopefully this will work out for me. What I'm intending to do is put that on there and this one on the front, and then put something in between and make a kind of double frame with a little shaker on it. Oh, my mind went into overdrive there, and I didn't even know what die set to use because so many of them just came into my mind. Anyway, I just remembered that I had done the shopping the high street yesterday. Well, you'd have seen it yesterday. I did it quite a while ago. And I took the window dies, and if you don't know how to cut those out, it's with this little die and this one taped in the centre, and you can see it in the video which I made of the shopping the high street. And I have die cut that, and as you can see, that's the top side. I have glued that very, very carefully onto the acetate, and the idea is that that opens through there, and it's sort of in between the two, but it's on the top side of this acetate, it's not in below it. And then I'm going to put this on the background here, and I'm going to decorate the front. But wouldn't that be really, really lovely? I was just thinking if you put a fairy door in, and then you had some trees on the outside coming over here and a little fairy. Oh, okay. I'll leave all that to your imagination, but right now I'm going to go and die cut some of the foliage from this set here. I'll actually sort of combine some from the memory book set and then some from the set that this came from, and use them both together, and we'll see how that goes. I've taken this die and it cuts out a little table and a part of a tree, and there's no outside cutting edge on part of it, so it's just down here. But I laid that on a piece of card, and then I left this sort of border around the top and down the side there, and I am going to attach that on the back of this frame here. So where that's glued on top of the acetate, I'm going to glue that onto the back of the frame there, just by these areas. I like the look of the little table and the glasses on it, and I had that obviously cut out in the same colour as this little tree in the background there. So I thought it would look nice in white and it would stand out behind that. So you can see I've just taken a piece of card and laid this die straight on top of it there, and all I'm going to do is nip off this area and up that side there, and I'll just leave enough of that to catch in below here, and I can pop that on there. So you can see where I'm just going to glue that directly on there, and I want to have the top of the table over so that you don't see this side here, but I want to have it far enough away so that you can see it directly through. Oh, this is lovely. I really love this. I've cut out some of this foliage, and as you can see, that big long piece there, I just nipped that into tiny little bits, and I've put two of them on here, so that's glued right directly on top of the acetate. I've also cut some out in this colour as well, and I think I'll add that at a later stage, but right now I have enough on there, and I'm going to glue that directly on top of that now. Well, I reckoned I couldn't really waste all that depth without having some kind of shaker element in it, and you know I love little shaker cards. So I'm just going to turn this over, and I'm not actually going to add an awful lot in, but just a little bit. And these are, let's see, Pure Sheen Iridescent Circles But I really don't want too much in there, just a little bit. And now I'm going to add glue to the back of this, the little table and the little glasses, just there and there, across there, and then over the back of the tree and the whole way around the outside here. And what I'm going to do next then is add my glitter card directly on top of that. That's it finished. So you can see that I have added some foliage right down here, and I have added 3 little flowers from the memory book set. Then I have gone for some glitter card just to cover where the 2 little frames were joined together, and I have run strips of that the whole way around and covered the outside. And then I've added some dream drops in there, and I don't know if you can make it out too well on camera there, but it is actually very, very dimensional looking here because there are lots of different layers through it, and I'm really, really happy with the way it's turned out. Now I'm just wondering how you would display that. You could put it on a little stand. I have a lovely little wooden easel that I would be setting that on, or you could add it to a card. It's quite thick and bulky, but I've added ones that size before onto a card, and as long as you put an extra piece of card onto the back part of the card to stand it up, and maybe even have it as a top fold card, that would work well as well. So you want something to balance the back of it just by putting an extra layer or 2 of card either on the inside back or the back of the card altogether. But there you are, and I hope you like that too. So I think I have given you loads and loads of ideas, and I'm sure you'll have loads and loads of ideas yourself of how you could use lots and lots of those dies in that set. And hopefully you've enjoyed me showing you how to combine this set with the previous set as well, the Shopping the High Street little spinning box die set too. Well, this is just a little edit because I really wanted to finish this off, and I had this in the back of my mind, but I thought maybe some of you don't have it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make it, and those of you who do have this, it actually may even be available still on the website, but I'll put the links down below. It's the Little Memories frame die set, and in there you'll get this die set that makes this beautiful little frame and the lovely little stand on it. And it can work with the carousel, but you don't need that. It works independently as well. Inside you will find this die. I just take my tape off. So you're going to find this one, and you'll cut that out 4 times, and then this hinge, and it will tell you in the instructions in there, or you can have a look back in my video how to make that. But I have joined it all up together here, and because my little frame here is double thickness, I just need to adapt this a little. So this piece here needs taken out. So just tuck the scissors in here, and you'll feel them up against that, and you'll know it's straight, and follow that right down to this point, and then do the same on there. Snip that in and take that little bit out. Do the same on the other side, and then we can just cut this piece here as well. So if you follow this little point here, straight down and out there, again just in there and down there, and that will fit perfectly now. And then if you want, that's 2 layers on, and if you want to add another layer on, as I'm going to do here, I'll put this on after I've cut that, and then I can follow those guides in there and just cut the same way, and I'll do the same on this side as well. And then just to finish this off, I have taken little dies from this With Love tag and die set, and I have taken the With All My Love, but you could put anything. You could even stamp a little sentiment or whatever. I have debossed that into some beautiful mirror card, and then I've cut it out with this die and nipped off this little end piece and glued it along the bottom there, and that's it all finished now. Well, I do absolutely love the 2 memory books, and that's the big one, and there's the smaller one, and that gatefold part is just absolutely stunning on that. But I really, really love the frame. Actually, I don't know if I showed you there or not, but That's the embossed or the debossed detail. I haven't used that on this other one, but that's what it looks like on there, and it's really, really beautiful. Do check out that video too. So we've got the memory book with all the bits and pieces inside, and then this gorgeous big card, and then this little frame. So thank you so much for watching, and as I said, there will be loads and loads of photographs following this, and I'd love to know what you think about it all. Please leave me a little comment, and don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed, to do that and hit the notification bell as well. Leave me a little comment, as I said, and give it a big thumbs up if you have enjoyed it, because that really helps me, helps my channel, and it keeps everything flowing well as well. And my affiliate links to everything will be down below, and I get a little commission on that, but it doesn't cost you anything extra at all, and I always appreciate everybody who uses those as well. So until next time, happy crafting. Bye!